What were you doing on this day 27 years ago? Were you already working, building your career, or making a family? Or were you like me, just finishing preschool and ready to take on first grade? Or were you perhaps not even born yet? One person I can tell you what they were doing was Csaba Roja, because he was working on what would become the official levels of Elastomania and its predecessor Across. The official levels that we continue to play and compete in till this day. But not all the levels he made were included in that official release. You are currently looking at a level made by Csaba Roja back in 1997 that for some reason did not get included in the official game, but has just recently been rediscovered, and since the World Cup was right around the corner, it was kept hidden and only saw the light of day exactly 1 week ago. And for 1 week, the best of the best in Elastomania have done their best and poured their hearts in as we release 27 years of perfection, mastery, theory, skill to see who can win this legendary event. So bear with me for just a couple of minutes as I walk you through the levels to show what styles and routes we may see, and then we'll make our way up the list and see how different players manage to solve this level. So in this level, you're starting out here at the very top, and there's a total of 6 apples to collect. Now a basic style would be doing it top to bottom, so you would come down here, grab the first apple, come back all this way, grab the one out here to the left, come down here, grab this one, and then you would have to come back, grab this one as well, drive all the way out here, and since there is no wall out here that you could use to bounce back, you would then have to make your way all the way back again and maybe come down, use these kind of polygons somehow, get down, grab this last apple, and then come in for the finish. Now of course this would not be optimal as you're transversing the same places many times, just losing a lot of time in the process, but it was very hard to find another viable style that works. My first instinct was actually to drop down here, grab this apple, swing in, grab this one, come back up here, and then from this left-hand apple somehow make your way back up towards the right and somehow clearing this gap. I don't know if you can use this hang or if you can jump below, but coming out here, grab this apple, fly all the way, grab this apple with a beautiful stretch, stretching out the bike and using the elasticity to swing back in, grab this one, come down for the flower. Now I believe this style could be very fast, but I was never able to make this part. Another style that could work would be to come out here and grab this apple first, and then jump all the way down here, grab this one, come back maybe with some sick bounce, and then come up here and make your way back up towards the left and grab this apple, come back and grab the middle one. And from here, maybe you would have 2 choices. Either you could continue down in the middle here somehow and make your way up and grab this apple. Very tricky though, since it's uphill wherever you choose to go. Or maybe you could actually come back here and use this big loop to get a lot of speed to come towards the right. And maybe even though you're going backwards here, the amount of speed you get for the uphill part would make up for it. Or perhaps another style could be coming out here, grabbing this apple, but instead of making it out to the right first, you would come back, jump down here, grab this one apple, grab this again, and then use a lot of speed here, come back for the middle apple, somehow come down here, jump, and from here it might just be possible to get a stretch out your bike, grab this apple and use the stretch so that once your bike starts to come backwards, you release the brake, and that will allow you some downwards and inwards momentum, so you could just barely drop down here, grab this apple and continue down to the flower. Now this is a style also that would require insane precision and just perfect execution, so it's just beautiful how Csaba Roja manages to create yet another level where it feels like the skill ceiling is impossibly high, just like in the official internal levels. So without further ado, let's jump into the replays, let's see what people came up with, and let's see how more than a quarter of a century worth of mastery can be applied to this legendary level. And here you have it, the results of event number 3. And again, we'll make our way down to the 100th place where we'll watch our first replay. And we'll see if there's some replay along the way that is highly upvoted. If not, that's where we'll start, but already we're seeing some very nice finishes. I'm not surprised to see times around 2 minutes here, but I believe they will drop fairly quickly too. We're already seeing some really well-known names, well-known Kaskis. We're seeing Philip coming back here, Poe that we watched a replay of before, Andre coming in 105th, and then we have Mrr from Team BAP in 100th place. And as always, I'm not sure how the name should be pronounced, but regardless, it's the 100th place. Let's check out Mrr's replay. And here we have the first replay of event number 3. Let's see, coming down here, going out to the right first. Are we gonna see the base style of doing like top to bottom? Does look like he's coming back here, coming back for the left. So he grabs the top apple, and then we'll do this kind of swinging here. Beautiful vault, getting up. Doesn't use a hang here, but driving on top of the polygon to be able here to jump up to this left-hand apple. Beautiful stuff. If you were hanging that polygon, it was very hard to come back up and grab this apple actually. But coming down here, grabbing the middle apple now as well, and making his way with a lot of speed out towards the right. Are we gonna see some insane stick here? No, doesn't look like it. Again, that would be like a ridiculous style to pull off. But grabs his right-hand apple and now has to come back. Let's see, is he gonna jump down here in the middle and then work his way up for the uphill? It looks like it. Or will he come down out? No. So he turns here, and then he will do this kind of uphill section, and just keeping your traction here really hard, but gets a nice push here and can get some volts in to be able to get a good brake push here. Nice, can keep some speed out towards the right here, but you can tell he loses a lot of speed coming back up for this apple. Very hard portion of the level when you're doing this style. And coming down here, again, even coming back here towards the left was not the easiest, because you have to go down into this kind of valley and then make your way up again. A lot of air time, but manages to catch the flower at 125.03. So with that, we have our base style. Come out here, come back up, and then up towards the left apple, down in the middle, and then out here towards the right. And then you have to come back all this way, down, and then do the uphill part here, jump down, clear this gap up, and back towards the flower. It's a slightly convoluted style, but he pulled it off very nicely. And with that, we'll make our way all the way down to 50th place. Again, unless we have something highly upvoted in between, then we'll go for that as well. Let's see who we have here. We have Harambe, Magic Man, Chauncey, Selter coming in from EA as well. We have Pellu, who was doing really well in Lost Cup. Has had some lower finishes here in the World Cup though, maybe not playing as much. We have Losku, Onla, Knevk or Nuke again. We have Pochodale, Insky. So many strong players here already in like 70th, 60th place and everything. And coming down towards 50th place, we have, let's see, Terbo. It feels like we've been seeing Terbo a lot in this cup. I believe he was 51st in the last event, but now breaking into the 50th position with a beautiful 107.36, improving almost 20 seconds on the previous replay that we saw. And let's see where Terbo could save all the time. Already looks like a very different start here. Gets a nice stick so he can swing in with a lot of speed towards the right. And will he come back? He doesn't. He goes out here, continues out towards the right, and gonna be picking this right-hand apple first. Well, as the second apple. And coming back here, beautiful, completely different style here, but using that rightwards momentum that he had from the start and just continuing out and grabbing this apple first. And let's see, coming up here with the back wheel hanging. Again, this swing here was so hard to get well done, but really creative style. Jumping out and using this polygon here, having this amount of speed, coming up with a brake push in the ceiling to push his way out towards the left. Really nice style by Terbo. Grabbing this left-hand apple, and now he just has the middle apple left. And then let's see, will he come back and do this style that we were looking at? Looks like he's jumping straight down, gonna get a push from this polygon, and then gonna have to do this uphill here in the sky. Gets also a very nice push here on the edge of the polygon, gets good vaulting in to get a little bit of extra speed, and manages to clear this entire gap with a single jump because of that beautiful brake push on the floor. And coming out here towards the flower, gonna also have to get into this valley, or let's see, he does a long jump, and he clears the entire valley. And manages to go really low and grab the flower almost 20 seconds faster than the previous style. So beautiful stuff by Terbo, coming straight out here and grabbing the apple instead, coming back as well, but then coming up here and doing a beautiful push in the ceiling, up grabbing the left-hand apple, taking the middle one, and then he was already finished up here so he could drop straight down and then continue this route, and also with a nice long jump here to clear the gap, and a nice jump in the end to clear the gap here as well. And with that, we'll make our way down to 30th place. We do have a vote for TM's replay here, but let's see, do we have anything else that's more upvoted before the 30th place? Actually, we have DCEM with 2 votes here. Gaps are indeed happening. We're down to 54 seconds already. But let's see what we have in 30th place first. Actually, we have 3 votes for Technique as well. So it might actually end up that that's the replay we're gonna be checking out. Let's see, in 30th place, well, in 31st place we have me. And in 30th place we have Blastic with a beautiful 49. But let's see, I believe we should be checking out both DCEM and Technique's time because they both had multiple votes. So let's start with DCEM's 54.09. And here we have DCEM. Not doing the same start that Terbo did. He's actually hanging this first polygon. Really nice stuff. And let's see, he's not even swinging out. He's hanging so that he can get that swing back towards the left. That's a little bit faster than staying on top of the polygon and having to turn, I guess. And using this hang here to swing out, grabbing the left hand apple first. And let's see, he's gonna grab this middle apple. Is he gonna do some stick here to use? Yeah. Okay, so he does a stick to come back. We'll grab this apple here. And I don't get it. Like, when he comes out to the right, is he gonna do this insane shortcut? What's going on here? Let's see, he jumps. He comes out, back wheel, gets the head in under, comes in with a swing and grabs the right hand apple. Beautiful stuff. Let's just take a quick look at that again. Crazy stuff. He has a lot of speed here out towards the right, gets the back wheel in with a little bit of gas and just doing this stick here, using the elasticity of the bike. You see he's stretching the back wheel and just barely here, he's starting to move back towards the left. His head just barely clears beneath the polygon. And when he releases the brake here, he has the tiny momentum towards the left, gets a tiny like brake and stick there as well to get even more speed, and then just comes in and barely makes it up onto this polygon and can make his way straight down to the flower. That's such a nice shortcut and so hard to pull off, but DCEM does it beautifully and comes in at 54.09. And a beautiful style as well. He does this hang to begin with to be able to swing back, using this hang to jump all the way out left, coming in here with the stick, coming back then down here to gather a lot of momentum so he has enough speed to stretch out the bike at this apple and just barely make it down, grabbing this last one and coming in for the finish. And as you can tell, this leaves two places where you're driving the same place multiple times, but it's so much less convoluted than the replays we saw before where you had to come back all this way and make your way down here at least. And as I started watching Technique's replay, I realized it was the same style as DCEM was using. So instead we'll merge and see how he could improve 1.5 seconds on DCEM. And in the top here you have T-Technique's shirt. In the bottom you have DCEM's shirt. It's a bit transparent though, that's why you see T-Technique through him. But we'll be following T-Technique here and see where he's saving that time. So let's see. First to start, they do it fairly similarly, and coming out here, both using this hang, both gonna use the stick at the apple as well. So far, pretty identical, and this uphill really awkward, you don't have much speed. The T-Technique comes out a tiny bit ahead, but not much actually. Does a 2-wheel hang instead of a 1-wheel hang there as well. Both coming out here to do the stick as well. T-Technique keeping his tiny lead, but so far it's not 1.5 seconds by a long shot. But at least he's not getting caught up by DCEM. Maybe gets a little bit more speed out there, but DCEM gets a good push at that corner as well. But T-Technique coming in for the drop here, and he's just like slightly extending his lead all the way. Clearing this gap, but they both do. But he's keeping his lead here, and it has to be almost at the end here. Oh, it's that beautiful brutal vault that allows him to get that tiny bit of extra lead that gives him the 1.5 seconds. Let's see here again. He comes in here and just pushes with the front wheel so that his back wheel comes up and he can clear this gap beautifully. Whereas you see DCEM in the back here getting caught on this bump, which gives him more altitude, he gets a higher jump, and it just takes longer to reach the flower. So basically it was the same style all the way, but T-Technique manages to get a beautiful push here to clear this gap so it doesn't get stuck on this corner and go straight for the flower. Whereas DCEM went down here a little bit, gets a tiny snag, flies a bit higher and just loses a little bit of momentum there in the end. And in 30th place we have Blastic at 49.62, improving about 3 seconds on Technique's time. Let's see how he pulled that off. And here we have Blastic's 49.62. Let's see. Stops here. Is he gonna come out for the right hand apple as well? Actually not. He's dropping all the way down. Is he gonna be able to pull off this crazy style and make it back up to the right? He has to. Let's see. He comes out here for the left hand apple. Is he gonna be able to swing all the way back here? He is. Jesus, I was trying this. I didn't think it was possible. How is he gonna make it up? Oh, beautiful style. He goes on top of the polygon and just... This is so clever. I can't believe I didn't think of that, but coming out here, jumping all the way out and getting a... He gets this with front wheel? That's just crazy stuff. And manages to clear this gap with ease. Coming in here, I would believe this style would be so much faster. But coming out here for the flower and getting it, but let's look at that again. He drops down here all the way, getting all the apples, getting a little stick here to get back in. Comes up here, it was very hard here not to hit your head actually, but he manages to dodge it beautifully with a little bit of gas correction as well. Coming out here, then using a lot of olive oils here to just keeps swinging out towards the right and manages to get on top of this hang, comes in with some speed to get an all push up, like kind of like a brutal vault, and coming up here for the hang, and then is able to grab this apple right here and this long jump here and this stick with like the front wheel first here. Beautiful stuff, how he can like just stretch enough to just barely clear this corner here. You see it's right on the limit that he manages to get around there, and then just comes in beautifully here with a lot of speed and can clear the gap. Really, really beautiful stuff by Blastic. I did not think that was possible. But let's see, the next replay on our journey would be 10th place, unless there is something else highly upvoted, and I have some suggestions for replays as well, but I don't know in which place those ones come. We have Tomator, who got 2 upvotes here in 25th place. Let's see, Orc, Barry P, Jaws, Astral, who we saw finishing really highly before. The U, we have Nicomatic, Mira, Immo, Monkey, Hosp in 14th place, Sox coming in, Sick Mambo, Sveiner at 11th place, and let's see, in 10th place, we have Bian at a 45.44. That is an insane time. I have no idea how he managed to pull that off. And let's see Bian's replay. Is it gonna be the same style that we saw? Looks like he's dropping down here, and yeah, he does drop all the way down. But how he's gonna beat Tomator with the same style? Let's see, coming up here, he does a 2-wheel hang here actually, but manages to jump straight up here and gonna be using a back wheel hang. Yeah, has to be the same style. Coming around here, swinging up towards this polygon here, and does not go on top of it. Is he gonna be swinging below? He is. He manages to get... I was trying this so long in like a tool assisted, but he does it beautifully, swinging really high here, barely avoids the head. Look, he's so close to hitting it. Gets the wheel up here and just manages to get up the back wheel and keep gassing out towards the right. That was so hard. I didn't think that was possible. Beautiful stuff. And comes in here and can also do the same kind of drop here, coming down towards this apple out here and coming out, and then gonna be the same ending. Let's see if he does some kind of sick brutal here that we saw someone else doing before. No, goes down into the valley, comes up, good push, straight to the flower at 45.44. Just a beautiful swing here when he's coming from the right, and yeah, just barely on the corner, pushes up here, avoids the head, up with the wheel, up with the second wheel, gassing, and just keeps really good traction all the way here, so he can swing out and do this insane stick out here on the corner. Beautiful stuff by Bian. Let's see, we'll make our way down to 5th position, unless we have some other highly upvoted, and we do have AKBs around here, and I know we were using a different style. We have Mielz as well, we have Siphias, and I can already see Finman looming here in 5th place as well. But before we get into that, we will be watching AKB's run. It is the most upvoted replay so far, and I know we've been using a very different style, but I have also gotten requests to watch Mielz's run, to watch Siphias's run, so we will be checking out those replays as well. But first and foremost, AKB 9th place, 45.32. And here's AKB's replay and EA style. Already very different, coming out here with a stick towards the right. It's a style that we saw very early on, but also sticking here and coming back towards the left again. Gonna jump up here with an Olivolt to get that back wheel up for a 2-wheel hang. Tiny brake adjustments here to get up to another 2-wheel hang here. Very hard to not hit your head. But then coming back, not swinging back up to the top, but coming back down here, grabbing this middle apple. Beautiful Olos here for a push. And then of course coming in for a back wheel hang here and just barely clearing that head, making his way out here towards the left. Doing that vault to get that extra bit of compression so we can clear this gap as well. So hard to do to get enough speed there. But clearing the valley here as well with a beautiful low jump for a beautiful 45.32. And again, the crux of this level was to get this push here and not overshoot, not undershoot this jump. And you had to like basically be able to brake or gas a little bit on your way here towards the right. It was so hard to get this timing right. So you could barely keep your back wheel on with that stick and still get that swing towards the left. But he just does it so beautifully, and that extra vault to be able to get enough like height to just clear that gap. Beautiful stuff by AKB. Was such a hard style, but he pulled it off so nicely. Now I started watching Mielz's 7th place run, and then I started watching Siphias's 6th place run as well, but then I realized they were using the same style, so instead let's do a merge and see where Siphias could beat Mielz by about 0.7 seconds. And of course, Siphias in the orange shirt, Mielz below in the black and yellow. And we'll start by following Mielz here, as we see them both make their way out to this hang and does this beautiful push to get into this middle apple and then down to the bottom one as well. Gonna be doing the 2-wheel hang here. Mielz already in the lead a tiny bit, but Cepheus all of a sudden just blasts past Mjelz, and how is he able to do that? Let's see, let's follow Cepheus instead. We see Mjelz vaulting up here from the hang. Cepheus just drives straight through, no vault, does a tiny break there to get some rotation, his head almost hitting, but then he vaults up the back wheel and just manages to gas straight away. Such a beautiful transfer between those two polygons. And coming out here, and now Cepheus has the lead. They both do this beautiful swing up here towards the right hand apple, and both of course going straight down here for the like far out right apple, and coming in, and Cepheus just gets the most beautiful stick here you can imagine. Look, like can even vault a little bit extra towards the left, so he gets a huge amount of momentum. And you can see Mjelz in the background getting a tiny bit stuck here. It's still a great transfer, but just tiny bit slower, not that extra vault towards the left. So Cepheus just has more momentum and gets down faster. And Cepheus now in the lead, gonna be doing this beautiful brutal vault, sorry, but just gets straight to the flower and beats Mjelz. So beautiful stuff by both of these players, but Cepheus barely eking out that win over Mjelz. And this was just a battle for 6th and 7th place. So now, let's make our way into the top 5. And we already see that the 5th place goes to Finman, who previously has only won and come 2nd place in the event so far. But still a mighty impressive time and a mighty impressive finish. And keep in mind, this will be the first Team Dot replay that we'll be watching as we check out Finman's run here. Let's see, comes down here as well. Is it gonna be the same style? So far it is. Let's see. Does a 1-wheel hang here instead of 2-wheel hang? Maybe that's faster. But it doesn't look like he has way more speed than the previous rounds we've seen. But a 1-wheel hang nonetheless, and gets that swing up towards here. Gonna get the same flip up here as well. Looks like it. It's so fun that I was trying this for so long, never able to pull it off. Let's see, is it gonna be a back wheel or a front wheel hang? Back wheel hang as well. Beautiful, gets that really fast push in towards the left as well that we saw Cepheus getting as well. And let's see, coming in here for the end brutal vault as well. Really beautiful, so clean run by Finman. Grabs the flower for a solid 5th place. Beautiful stuff, Finman. And let's make our way to 4th place, where we have Audi. Audi coming in at 42.85, and the margins are so tiny here, but Audi manages to squeeze in barely a 1/10 of a second ahead of Finman for a 4th place. Let's check out the run. Let's see, it's gonna be the same style. Coming down here, gets this push from the first hang polygon. Looks like it's gonna be the same start at least, coming down here for the 2-wheel hang, not the 1-wheel hang that we saw Finman doing. Jumping up here and doing the Cepheus style. They're both in the same team, Team MIE. So it's the same style as he swings up here towards the top apple. Let's see, beautiful flip in here, avoids the head, comes in, good grip. And so far it's the same that we've seen Cepheus doing. Does the double backflip here. Gets a good amount of break there. Like, it's so crazy. Look where he starts braking. He starts braking in the downhill here and just cancels the momentum all the way, stretching the bike all the way down here. And then here he's able to vault left and just use that extra bit of push with brake to get even more speed towards the left. And he has so much speed towards the left, he can get the front wheel in here and even push for extra speed in the end. That's such a beautiful trick to add. And coming in here for the brutal, such a really nice end by Audi, and such a well-deserved 4th place with this beautiful stick coming in here to the left and manages to push for extra speed towards the finish. And with that, we'll be entering the podium. And the player to take the first step up onto 3rd place is none other than Tully. Tully, beautiful time, improves like half a second on Audi's time actually, but from the same team, Team MIE. Again, so much fun to see Tully back in action. Let's check out the bronze place run. So let's check it out. I'm assuming it's gonna be the same style that we've seen Audi and Cepheus doing and others. But let's see, he has a beautiful start here, so clean so far. Is it gonna be the same Cepheus style here? No vault? Yeah, exactly, just brake and push so he can immediately start gassing here. Goes for the swing as well. So far nothing new, just really clean execution. Beautiful swing here as well. Has a lot of momentum out towards the right. And let's see, are we gonna see the same 2 counter vaults here? Looks like it. Early break as well. So early break. And comes in here and is able also to get that push like Audi did. Not with as huge of a margin, but such a clean run. And such a beautiful brutal here in the end. Those tiny brake corrections for a beautiful 3rd place finish by Tully. And we have come such a long way from the first finishes we saw above 1 minute. We're down to 42-34. And let's see, in second place, the silver medal goes to Zero. With the 41-16. He improves more than a second on Tully's run. How is that even possible? Has Team Dot found something else? We already saw Finman in 5th place, but how is Zero able to improve more than a second on all the other replays we saw so far? There's only one way to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, Zero's run. Let's see, he pushes with the front wheel there instead of with the back wheel. That actually looks a little bit faster. But how could no one else have found that if that is faster? No idea. But let's see, he does the MIE style here as well of coming up with just a brake, no vaulting. Let's see, comes for the swing out here towards the right. Just beautiful, keeping low, jumping up here and getting the quick early traction. Coming down here towards the right, just so beautiful. Look at these really quick like gassing on the underside of the polygon. Here, like the wheel he's using to gas now will lift from the ground. So it turns really quickly, gasses on the underside of the polygon here. And then comes back, turns around to gas up here. Zero is so quick with these turns. It's really impressive to see these like tiny micro adjustments along the way. And let's see, coming out here for the back wheel swing as well. Just so beautiful. He just clears it with such a huge margin as well. And comes in for the end here. And like the replay is just so fast, you almost have no time to comment on everything. But it's just such a clean run by Zero. And again, this start that we saw is a little bit different, just pushing with what is now his back wheel here, instead of like coming around and going upside down there. And then we just saw this very, very clean hang part here by Zero. And again, this stick here, everybody's been doing it so great, but Zero just does it so quickly. He doesn't get stuck at all, doesn't even touch the polygon on the way down, and just has enough leftwards momentum to get that final push, and comes in here for a beautiful brutal waltz as well, that we've seen before. But Zero getting the second place, really well done. And of course, that leaves only one player. One person who was able to take this 27-year-old level and master it in a way that nobody else could. And that player is Speff. Speff breaks even the 41-second barrier, comes in at 40.82. Insane stuff by Speff, and again by Team Dot. This time they had a little bit more competition. We had Tully and Audi beating Finman, but it wasn't enough to dominate the podium. That victory goes to Team Dot, and specifically Speff at 40.82. Let's check out the run. And here you have it. After 27 years, Chaba's level has its first official world record, and it is made by none other than Speff. Let's see, coming down here for the style that we've seen so far from his teammates as well in Team Dot. Beautiful transfer. Look at it, this again. Just comes up, brake, and just perfect bolt in, so he's able to gas all the way. Coming around here for the swing as well. Getting up here, and then let's see, the jump. Beautiful. Doesn't get stuck anywhere. Front wheel clears with ease. Coming out here for the right-hand apple. Beautiful counter volts. Beautiful swing, just so much speed out towards the left, and just clears this gap so easily. And coming down here, nice push with the front wheel, nice push with the back wheel, perfect brutal volt, perfect gassing, and just grabs the flower. And for reference, let's compare it to Tully's run. We'll be following Speff here, and already we see the different start here, pushing with the back wheel instead of the front wheel, coming in and already has a huge lead. I wonder how other teams did not find that start. But Tully's cutting up a little bit here. But Speff still keeping his lead, and I don't think he will get caught along the way. In fact, he might even extend the lead a little bit more. He won over Tully by about 1.5 seconds, even though Tully was third and Speff was first. And let's see, already he has such a huge lead. These like perfections on this hang, maybe specifically all the counter volts. Well, Tully does it as well, but Speff just does it a tiny bit better and comes in here for the swing. Such a nice break by both players. And comes in, but Speff, look at the margin he has for that push, so he just has so much speed out here towards the left, and just handily beats the best finish by Team MIE, and just such a well-deserved victory by Speff and Team Dot. And the reactions are, as you could expect, this is technically an internal level, and it only makes sense that Speff would be dominating it. In fact, Speff's 10th time is 41:24, which actually almost beats out Zero's time, but definitely beats out every other time in this event. Just such an insanely high time. Yeah, like Anatoly says, it's just one more internal world record by Spef. And if you don't know, Spef holds by far the most world records of anyone. Currently 21 world records out of the 54 levels, which is just insane. And I guess now technically he has 22 internal world records. And with that, we see Zero now in the sole lead position. Finman, after having been shared first, now in second place. We see Tully and Spef climbing up into the top 5. And we see Mielz maybe dropping a slight bit because of some differences in the style. But of course, we also have 2 skips. So with that in mind, you have the 3 people that have won an event now, Finman, Zero and Spef, all from Team Dot. But then we also have the Team MIE players very close behind. We have Mielz from Shown, we have EF as well, and then we have EA and other teams, of course. So anything can happen, especially when you see the next level that's coming up by ICS, a great contributor to the Alma scene. And just look at this crazy level. This next one is gonna be just insane. And this all leaves you wondering, what could have happened if we played all of these levels for 27 years like the internals? But also with that in mind, it's amazing what people can perform in just a week. But after the fantastic replays we got from event 3, I can't wait to see what people come up with in this crazy level. I'll see you there in the next video. Thanks for watching.